I had a slice and I was in so much pain. I remember thinking to myself, this is not normal. Like there's something wrong. There's something I ate. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Myra from Low Carb Love. So for those of you that don't know, I've lost over 100 pounds. I've been maintaining my weight for over 15 years. And today I wanted to talk to you about gluten and why I can never eat gluten again. Now, this kind of goes way back to before I lost my weight. I grew up eating a lot of processed junk. And so ultimately I ended up obviously probably really messing up my metabolism. But fast forward to about 3 years ago, I kind of wanted to just incorporate that because I wanted you to know my backstory in case you haven't been here. So I do have that whole backstory. And then over the last like 15 years, I've been eating really good. And for the most part, I eat very clean and low carb. And I, even while just really watching what I eat, I started developing a lot of stomach issues. Like I would get super bloated after I ate. I would get just like stomach pains, constipation, like just dealing with a lot of just discomfort. And I typically noticed it a lot after I had bread, especially after I had like a really processed bread like pizza. Even just like I remember one time I suffered so much after having one slice of like those boxed pizzas. I had a slice and I was in so much pain. I remember thinking to myself, this is not normal. Like there's something wrong. There's something I ate that is literally causing my stomach to feel horrible. And so it just kind of stayed in the back of my mind where I'm like, okay, Myra, you need to get a test. Like there is something wrong. Like you should not be feeling this way after you eat anything. And so little by little, I just started noticing that it was every time I had kind of like a cheat meal, because I've been low carb for many, many years. And so my cheats were always like, I wanted, and it's not like I would just indulge and binge, but even if I just had a few bites of like a donut, or if I had like a half a donut, or if I had like a few bites of a funnel cake, or if I had like a bite or two of like a croissant, I ate something. Like every time I had a cheat, I would feel sick. And so then I started really paying close attention. I was like, okay, it's every time I have bread. It's every time I have like anything that's like really carby. And so I thought maybe it's just carbs. Like my body just doesn't like carbs anymore. But that didn't happen when I had rice. It didn't happen if I had potatoes. I kind of did a elimination diet, right, throughout the process. And it came down to being, again, just breads. And so I finally went to go get a allergy test. And sure enough, when I got my results, it just showed that I was highly reactive to wheat. Now, wheat is in everything, okay? Wheat is in cookies, crackers, breads, pizza, like everything. And so a lot of times, that's one of the reasons why I would feel sick like every time I ate outside of like my norm, like outside of my food, because all my stuff would never give me a stomachache. So anyway, I get these results and I'm like, okay, so this is it. It's wheat. I'm super highly reactive to wheat. And so what that means is basically like my body, when I consume wheat, it sees it as like something dangerous, like I'm putting something dangerous into my body. And so it reacts. So I've been dealing with a lot of like allergies for years. I get really bloated, inflammation. Like even at one point about 2 years ago, I started getting like patches, like these like, I don't know, it's kind of like blotchy patches on my skin where I started getting scared. I was like, what in the world is going on? And so a lot of times our bodies, like literally, these are like warning signs, like, no, I'm not okay with what you're doing. So, that's why a lot of times you notice things like getting bloated, like getting inflammation. Sometimes you'll get like acne, you'll just start to gain weight. I mean, there's just so many things. A lot of people suffer even with like headaches. I mean, like our bodies are not meant to live that way. Like that's not normal. So if that's something that you're experiencing, then you definitely want to just kind of pay attention to that, listen to your body, because there's probably something that you're consuming that's just not agreeing with you. And it doesn't mean that you're allergic to it. You might just be sensitive to that, but there's no way of really finding out until you actually take a test. Like I self-diagnosed myself as gluten sensitive. And then once I got that back, I was like, I was right. Yeah, another thing that I wanted to mention, I have my little notes just because I didn't want to go too much like off on a tangent, but the quality of what you eat also makes a big difference. So 2 summers ago, I went to Europe. And in Europe, their standards of food are like a lot higher. And so their wheat out there is not as processed as ours is here. So our wheat here is like highly processed. And so while I was out there, I literally had the time of my life. I was able to like try pizza and like focaccia and like everything out there because my body was not reactive to it. So all of that to say that sometimes if you're experiencing any of these issues as well, sometimes you can try making things at home. So I also just found out that some people are not reactive to sourdough, like a homemade high quality sourdough. I haven't tried it yet. I really want to, because like I totally miss like a crunchy bread with like butter, and not that I have that all the time or like that I would, but once in a while it would be great to be able to enjoy something like that without having like a huge stomach ache. So just in case if you're unsure of like whether or not you might be sensitive to gluten, what I personally feel when I have it is I feel like if I got a balloon and like put it in my stomach and then like blew it up, and it just feels like pressure and it feels like so uncomfortable, and it just makes it not worth it. So a lot of people are like, oh my God, Myra, like what do you eat when you cheat? And I'm just kind of like, well, like I can't have some of my favorite foods because they just make me feel really bad. Like they just make me feel sick. Anyway, I kind of wanted to talk to you about this just because gluten is in so many different things. And I feel like a lot of us go through life, like you just kind of live with pain, like whether it be like always getting bloated or always just feeling like discomfort after you eat, or feeling like really gassy, or again, like even going to the extremes of like always getting headaches. A lot of times it could just be something that you're consuming that you have absolutely no clue that you're sensitive to. Like it could be anything from the meats, like chicken. Like I've literally seen everything. Like you could literally be highly reactive to something crazy like peanut butter, and you put that in your smoothie every morning, and your smoothie's super healthy, but you like have no clue that it's peanut butter that you're highly reactive to. So I just kind of wanted to bring this to light because I have been suffering from allergies for so many years, and I had no clue that it had to do with what I was consuming. The allergies that I was dealing with, where I was like sneezing every morning and really just getting like crazy sinus pressure, had to do with dairy. So yeah, it's like a whole long story, but once I eliminated certain dairy, it's not all dairy, it's more like cream cheese and sour cream and like just milk. Once I stopped consuming those products, my allergies literally went away like a miracle. All of that to say is that I was miserable with those allergies, got rid of the dairy, good. I was dealing with a bunch of stomach issues, and then I got rid of the gluten, and now I'm good. So if you're dealing with anything like that, just know that it might just so happen to be something that you're consuming every day, and you just have no clue that you're sensitive to it. Yeah, so all in all, I would say just always listen to your body. Just know that you're not supposed to be living in pain, and that if you are, I would really just recommend for you to like go out and do some type of allergy test. Or you could even start by doing like a little elimination diet. Those are really easy because you could just go online and look up like highly reactive foods. There's like a food map, and then you could just kind of go based off of that. I thought about doing something like that, like a little challenge where we could just all do it. But yeah, it's very restrictive and we would really have to like commit to it. So I did it once about 5 years ago. I lost so much weight. It was actually crazy. I lost like 18 pounds. I felt my absolute best, had the most energy, but it is so restrictive. So if you're interested, let me know. I'm totally down to kind of go over everything, and then I could maybe plan a challenge. I've never done a challenge on here. So if you're down to do a challenge with me, let me know. But I hope that overall this was really helpful if you're dealing with any type of like stomach issues or something like that. Hopefully you could just see that it's not something that's like normal, and maybe just kind of look into it, because at the end of the day, we don't want to go through life feeling, you know, yucky and having like tummy issues. If you know anyone that does, share this video with them. Maybe it would be really helpful. Don't forget to turn that little bell, hit that little bell notification so that you're reminded every time I post a video. But thank you guys so much for being here. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Mwah.